Some cats are born knowing they are safe. Mia was not one of them. For the first years of her life, she knew only concrete, cold nights, and the sound of footsteps she had to run from. She was a small tabby with white paws and soft, searching eyes. Eyes that had already seen too much. To the people who hurried past her in the alley, she was just another stray, a gray shadow that vanished the second you looked her way. Nobody knew her name, nobody knew her story, and Mia had learned, the hard way, that nobody was ever going to stay. She survived on scraps behind restaurants, she slept curled beneath rusted cars, and every single time a hand reached toward her, she flinched and disappeared into the dark. Because to Mia, hands meant danger, hands meant pain, hands meant run. That could have been her entire life, a quiet, invisible existence on the edge of a city that never noticed her. But one cold morning in early spring, something small began to shift. A young man named Daniel had just moved into the neighborhood. He wasn't looking for a cat, he wasn't looking for anything really, just a fresh start after a hard year of his own. But every morning on his way to work, he saw the same little tabby watching him from beneath a parked car. She never came close, she never made a sound, she just watched. Most people would have walked on by. Daniel didn't. He started leaving a small bowl of food by the curb. Nothing dramatic, just a quiet offering, set down gently, and then he'd step away and let her be. The first day, she didn't touch it until he was gone. The second day, the same. But by the end of that first week, something remarkable happened. She ate while he was still standing there. It doesn't sound like much, but for a cat who had spent her whole life running, staying was the bravest thing she had ever done. Daniel noticed everything, the way her ears swiveled at every sound, the way she kept one paw ready to bolt, the way her thin ribs pressed against her fur. This little cat had been let down so many times that trust wasn't just hard for her, it felt impossible. So he didn't rush her, he simply showed up, every single morning. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, the distance between them began to close, 1 inch at a time, one breakfast at a time, until one rainy afternoon, Mia did something she had never done for anyone. She followed him home. She stopped at the doorstep, soaked and trembling, unsure whether to trust the warm light spilling from inside. Daniel knelt down. He didn't reach for her, he just opened the door and waited. And after a long, long pause, she stepped inside. If a moment like that just gave you goosebumps, you already understand why stories like this matter so much. And if you're enjoying Mia's journey, I have to ask, you're still not subscribed? Honestly, that stings a little. Just tap that button and let's keep going together. Those first nights inside were not easy. Mia hid under the bathroom sink for 3 whole days. She wouldn't eat if Daniel was watching. She wouldn't come out if he moved too fast. Every creak of the floor sent her deeper into the shadows. And Daniel? He was patient. He sat on the cold tile floor for hours. He spoke to her in a soft, low voice. He never once forced her out. "You're safe now," he'd whisper into the dark. "I'm not going anywhere. Take all the time you need." Bit by bit, the fear started to loosen its grip. She began eating in front of him, then sleeping out in the open, then following him from room to room, always a few careful steps behind. It was as if she was testing the world, asking the same silent question over and over, "Are you really going to stay?" And every day, Daniel answered her the same way, by staying. Then came the night that changed everything. It was late. Daniel had fallen half asleep on the couch, a book still open on his chest, and in the quiet, he felt the softest weight settle against his hand. He opened his eyes slowly, afraid to move, afraid to break the spell. There she was, Mia, the cat who once flinched at every touch, the cat who spent years believing no human could ever be trusted, had curled up right there and fallen asleep in his hands. Her whole body rose and fell with each gentle breath, and then he heard it, a sound he had waited so long for. She was purring. Daniel didn't move for an hour. He barely breathed, because he knew exactly what this was. This wasn't just a cat falling asleep. This was a broken little soul finally letting her guard down. This was trust, hard-won, fragile, and absolutely real. Some bonds are built in an instant. Others are earned slowly through 1,000 small acts of kindness. Theirs was the second kind. Moments like these remind us why stories like this deserve to be shared. From that moment on, everything was different. Mia was no longer the shadow beneath the car. She became a cat who greeted him at the door, a cat who slept curled against his neck, a cat who trusted fully and freely for the very first time in her life. And the transformation didn't stop there. The frightened, skittish stray blossomed into the most affectionate companion Daniel had ever known. She'd reach up and gently touch his face with her paw, as if to say thank you. She'd press her forehead to his, eyes half closed, finally safe. The scared little cat who once had nobody now had a home. But her new life would soon be tested in a way neither of them saw coming. One brutal winter night, Daniel came down with a high fever. He fell into a deep, restless sleep, too weak to notice how bad it was getting. His skin burned, his breathing turned slow and heavy. And that night, Mia would not leave his side. She pressed her warm little body against his chest and stayed there, hour after hour, purring softly against his skin. Then, sometime past midnight, something in the room changed. His breathing grew shallow, too shallow. And that was when this once terrified stray did something extraordinary. She began to meow, loudly, insistently. She pawed at his face again and again, refusing to stop until he finally stirred. That sound woke him just enough to reach for his phone and call for help. The paramedics later said those few minutes made all the difference. The cat he had once rescued from the streets had, in her own quiet way, saved his life in return. Think about that for a second. The little soul everyone ignored became the reason a good man is still here today. Sometimes we think rescue is a single act, one person, one moment, one open door. But the truth is quieter than that. Rescue is showing up, again and again, even when nothing seems to change, even when trust feels impossible. Because the ones who have been hurt the most are often the ones who love the deepest, once they finally believe they're safe. Mia taught Daniel that, and in a way, she rescued him too. If you're ever thinking of opening your heart to a cat like Mia, please remember this. They are not just pets, they are survivors, they are healers, they are quiet little miracles wrapped in fur, waiting patiently for someone who will simply stay. Love doesn't always come with a loud meow. Sometimes it comes softly, on 4 small paws, and a purr that says, "I finally trust you." Sometimes the ones nobody wanted turn out to be exactly the ones we needed all along. So let me ask you this. Do you think Mia chose Daniel, or did Daniel choose her? Was this fate, or was it simply love finding its way home? Tell me what you believe in the comments below.